Hi, and welcome to today's episode of Smurf News. I'm Papa Smurf.
And I'm Smurfit.
Today's episode is going to focus on the future of digital music distribution. We're going to explore the difference between streaming, online downloading, and CD purchasing. And we're going to look at the ethical and moral issues surrounding online music piracy.
Online music piracy, that's a very strong word, isn't it?
Okay, I suppose we could say illegal music downloading.
That's much better. So basically, illegal music downloading
Piracy.
has been existing for ages. Many attempts have been made to prevent it, like legislation, educational campaigns, high technology like encryptions, and even enforcement to lawsuits. However, finding points out that these attempts not yet change the consumer behavior. So Papa, what is the difference between streaming, illegal downloading, and buying a CD?
Okay, well, buying a CD we all understand, I suppose, easiest of all. We either go to a store or we go to Amazon or somewhere like that, we pay for a CD and we receive the CD, so we know we own it. Imagine online downloading. In this situation, we can download the file to our phone or to our laptop, and if we pay for it, it's ours. We own the physical copy of the song. If we don't pay for it, of course, it's music piracy. The other situation is online streaming. In this situation, imagine it a bit more like renting. Basically, you either rent it by paying for it, by paying a monthly subscription, or in another situation, you don't pay for it monthly, but the ads pay for it. In either case, you're renting the file temporarily, and as soon as you're finished listening to it, you don't have it anymore. So today, we sent our reporter Jingjie out onto campus to talk to some consumers and see what their opinions were on the topic.
Let's check it out.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Jingjie. I'm in Smurfit now. We are going to find out how people feel about downloading music without paying for it. So let's go check out.
Well, like on Spotify you can just do it free anyways, so like I wouldn't feel bad about it or anything because it's obviously not the best service when you do it for free, but yeah, it is better when you pay for it because you get more options, but like it's, as a student it's nearly easier just to use the free option.
I wouldn't care. As long as I get it for free, I don't mind.
I don't download music, but I think like if there's a way of stopping it, I may as well stop it. But it's not right. I suppose that's what people say. It's not right, but everyone does it.
If
So.
you can get it for free, like
Yeah.
look at YouTube, you can get YouTube downloaded and like SoundCloud and then stuff like that. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so I download for free if I'm at home in Kenya, and I pay for it if I'm not in Kenya. I feel guilty about it, but until early 2010s, there was no way for us to buy music in Kenya, so we had to download it.
Thank you for that, Jingjie. That's some very interesting feedback.
Still, that a small sample cannot represent the general opinions.
True. So for credibility, we had an online survey done, and over 300 people from 28 different countries gave us their feedback on the topic.
Really?
Yeah? Do you want me to show you?
Absolutely.
Okay. First of all, we asked people, what were their CD habits? Did they buy any CDs? We asked them what they did over the last 5 years. We can actually see that approximately a third of people bought no CDs at all. If we say, but what number of CDs did you buy in the last 12 months? We see that this number actually grew, and almost 2/3 of people haven't even bought a CD in the last year. If we ask the same question about digital downloads, over the last 5 years, approximately the same number of people downloaded no digital download at all. And if we bring it forward to the last 12 months, again, almost 50% of these people didn't download any digital downloads. What about illegal downloading? We propositioned people with a question. We said, if you knew it was illegal to download music, would you still do it? As we can see, approximately 38% of them said, okay, you know what, we'd stop if we discovered it was illegal. So we challenged them with the second question, and we said, what might happen if your friend asked you, let's imagine this, your friend says, hey, I love your new album and I want you to copy it for me. And you go, okay, I'll do that for you. So we challenged people with this and said, would you do it for your friend? And as we can see, between the people that said, no, they wouldn't, and the people that said, we probably wouldn't, there was only 9%. So why the discrepancy? 38% saying they behave themselves versus 9% saying they behave themselves. I don't know. Back to you, Khanh.
So the finding was brilliant. But I'm still curious, why so many people know it's illegal, but they still engage in that course of action? So let's examine the descriptive ethics frameworks to see how the bias play out.
Descriptive ethics.
There are many psychological biases that may lead consumers to see little wrong with unpaid downloading. Here we will introduce a few.
Social waiting and in-group.
As a human being, we conform to social norms. Individuals tend to normalize their undesirable behavior by claiming that everyone else is downloading music for free, why can't I?
Denial of responsibility.
Consumers may argue that it's someone else that is putting the music online. They don't see downloading song as a wrong act.
Denial of victim.
Consumers argue that the music industry has been making a lot of money by exploiting them. They recall a time when they bought albums and got many undesirable songs. Therefore, they download without paying as a way to balance what they should get. This action is complemented by Robin Hoods, who disseminate the music thinking they are acting generously and help sharing happiness to others.
Distance from the object.
What is tricky about downloading is the intangibility of the music. Consumers hardly see downloading or copying as stealing because a song is intangible and easy to possess. It is different from stealing a physical object like a CD.
Advocacy effect.
Consumers may rationalize their behavior as promoting music and even their music idols.
Slippery slope.
Downloading music for free is easy and has low risk of punishment. It is also socially accepted. Therefore, a consumer easily develops a habit for getting away without paying.
So now that we understand the descriptive ethics of the situation, what about the stakeholders? When we examined the situation, we discovered there was approximately 10 to 15 different stakeholders affected by online music piracy. What we've decided to do is focus on those most affected. The primary stakeholders in the situation are the creator, the consumer, the record label, the telecommunications companies, and finally, the online music sellers.
For the consumer, on a personal level, their motive for illegal downloading are often very simple, such as saving money, convenience, a sense of control as they can select the song they like out of the whole albums, the need to possess unavailable songs in their homes, or just a wish to popularize their single idols. However, illegal downloading also have the following risks: the risk of a fine or lawsuit, or even going to jail if a consumer is a heavy downloader, and the vulnerability of spyware or viruses.
The music creators. These include musicians and composers. They are the people who make the recordings and the heart that drives the industry. With illegal downloading, they lose the compensation and royalties they deserve for their creative works. Then, they will lose their motivation for creating new work. Therefore, illegal downloading will cause more unhappiness for these stakeholders than legal downloading. But there is a positive side. Their songs can be popularized widely. This is especially beneficial for independent musicians with little chance of working with big record companies. With a large fan base, musicians can have more income from other sources such as tours, events, and concerts.
Record labels are those who own the right of the recordings, such as Universal, Sony, Warner Music, and EMI. Although illegal downloading helps popularizing their product and record label names, it brings more downsides. Loss of revenue, which may lead to layoff and damaged reputations. Loss of benefit of owning intellectual property. In the more severe case, it can harm the relationship with famous singers since they no longer trust the record label to protect their copyright.
For online disseminators, downloading poses a risk as a substitute that may make them lose subscribers. The story is also not positive for telecommunication companies. Increased unpaid downloads leads to overuse of bandwidth, which reduces customer satisfaction and even makes them lose customers. Many other stakeholders can get hurt. These include employees in the music industry, creators' families, local governments, and physical stores. Utilitarian.
From the utilitarian perspective, downloading brings different levels of happiness or harm to all the stakeholders. Many people may argue that the number of consumers is huge, so the result should be positive. But is it true? For the consumer, the benefit and the happiness are short-lived, maybe just a few weeks after the release of the music. But the negative impact on other parties, such as creators, record companies, and employees in the music industry, are much more long-standing and substantial. These stakeholders produce the creative work, and are at the heart of the music industry. The perceived negative outcome in this situation should overwhelm the perceived positive outcome. Therefore, this action cannot be justified from the utilitarian perspective.
So that's the utilitarian approach.
How about the formalist approach?
Let's have a look.
Let's look at this from a formalist perspective, which examines the universal virtues of the situation. An individual does not act with honesty and integrity when he or she consumes a product without paying. It also violates fairness, as the owners of the creative work don't receive what they deserve. The downloading of music is not desirable or acceptable from the formalist perspective either.
Meanwhile, virtue ethics focus on individual virtues. In this context, the majority of consumers believe the internet is a sharing place, where most internet users should widely value generosity and freedom. Therefore, it's reasonable that individuals should try to maximize their freedom and wealth, with little awareness about the harm on the industry. As Dan Ariely said, people will cheat a little bit and still feel good about themselves. Therefore, on the virtual ethics, unpaid downloading can be justified.
From our analysis, illegal downloading is unacceptable from a utilitarian perspective.
It is also unacceptable from a formalist perspective.
It is, however, acceptable from a virtues perspective.
Therefore, this action cannot be justified from our team perspective.
So, considering all the information we've had presented today and all the analysis that's being done, it's finally possible for us to consider a possible action plan going forward as to what we do with the digital music industry. In particular, we have to look at what do we do about illegal downloads. We propose several different tools. The first of these is using streaming services as a potential stepping stone to move illegal downloaders into the legal downloading world, or the legal streaming world for that matter. A second solution is to consider a reframing of the entire situation. In 2014, a research paper analysed the persuasive effects of a normative reframing of messaging. And one of the things that it concluded was that basically positively worded messages were better and were more convincing than negatively worded messages.
True.
And what this means for the situation is that if we use this, a reframing can actually move consumers towards legal downloading.
Mm-hmm.
What about the ethics of it all, though? If we follow our ethical beliefs with an intense integrity, sometimes it can actually lead to unethical decision-making or unethical solutions. For example, streaming. Is streaming actually ethical within itself? There's more to this streaming story.
Yeah. So streaming is not a full story. It's not a perfect solution because the artists not fully benefit from the cost of action. You can imagine that the amount of money got reduced substantially when it reached the artist. So the whole story will need to be reframed again and again. So it's important that the industry leaders and also the consumer both act in a responsible manners and continuously challenge themselves to push the story to an ethical direction.
Yes.
And we have faith in the future of the musical industry.
And frankly, we have to believe it's going to work out. I'm Papa Smurf.
And I'm Smurfit. Goodbye.
Bye.